The ornate antique mirror was the newest addition to my sister's collection of oddities, crystal balls, tarot cards, and eerie paintings passed down through our family's generations. Lucy had always been fascinated by the supernatural and occult relics. But this mirror awakened something darker. The first night it arrived, I was startled awake by hushed voices, Lucy whispering feverishly, followed by responses in an ancient, crackling tongue. I burst in to find only my sister sitting wide-eyed before the towering mirror, plainly terrified but claiming to hear nothing. In the following days, Lucy spent all her time enthralled by the mirror's intricate gilt frame and silvered glass that shone like a swirling portal. She stared unblinking for hours as if mesmerized, communing with forces only she could perceive. By night, the strange susurrations returned, like a spectral council holding shadowy debate. Lucy floated trance-like between her room and the mirror, drawn by the sepulchral voices only she could decipher. She scarcely slept anymore, increasingly manic and haunted. I begged Lucy to cover the mirror or move it to the attic, certain an oppressive energy was seeping from it. But she reacted with frightening intensity, refusing to silence the voices of ancestral spirits speaking through the glass. Soon, Lucy's behavioral spiral became undeniable. Feverish rants, refusal to eat. She claimed visions of our dead relatives were passing instructions on preparing for her ascension. As her gloom deepened, she fixated on mourning those who tried escaping their destinies. Once she whispered frantically about our need to complete the circle so no one could break away again. I decided one night to shatter the diabolical mirror, freeing Lucy from its curse. But when I entered her room, Lucy was already standing before the artifact in silence. She turned slowly to me, eyes welling with tears. "It's too late for me. For any of us." Then she stepped forward and passed like mist through the liquid surface, gone in an instant. No broken glass, just a rippling portal that sealed shut behind her. I stood hyperventilating, trying to comprehend what I'd witnessed. My sister had vanished into a haunted mirror? It wasn't possible. Yet dread affirmed I hadn't imagined the surreal abduction. In wild desperation, I clawed at the mirror's surface as indistinct shapes swirled beneath. But it had resumed its solid, impenetrable state. The only way to recover Lucy was clear. I had to journey inside the mirror and bring her back. I gathered supplies, flashlight, rope, hammer to smash glass if needed. At the mirror's base lay Lucy's locket containing photos of our ancestors. The circle of ghosts who lured her in. Anger swelled in me. I would release her from their clutches. As midnight struck, the mirror's surface rippled subtly once more. With pounding heart, I stepped forth and felt myself pass into a freezing void. The glow of my reflected living room dimmed away, leaving only howling darkness. Blindly, I groped until my feet found solid ground again. Raising my flashlight, I discovered myself in a deserted ghost town, derelict shops bordering a dusty road twisting into gloom. Sickly trees clawed at a clouded night sky. Not a living soul stirred. Wandering the creaking town, I searched for signs of life. But around each corner lurked only more decaying buildings echoing with loss. Then a faint warm light appeared ahead. I approached what appeared to be an old inn and tavern, lantern still lit by the door. Inside, the tables sat empty except one where gathered a silent crowd of figures shrouded in tattered robes. Shadows obscured their faces, but their Victorian garb marked them as specters from the past. My breath caught as I recognized the locket's photos on a few. These were my ancestors who called Lucy to this accursed place. Their ghostly gazes fixed on me with a profound melancholy that defied rage. A rasping voice finally intoned, "We meant no harm for the girl. Only hope to spare her destiny's pain we all must endure." Their chilling message given, the figures faded into dust one by one. I wanted only to find Lucy and escape this gloom-drenched underworld. The Annie Oakley Candlepin bowling alley next door offered a flicker of life. Inside the dusty lane, a skeletal player rolled his final frame repeatedly. I shivered and hurried on. No signs of Lucy anywhere. Outside again, I noticed in the distance a hillside graveyard, its wrought iron gate and statues beckoning. There I uncovered worn tombstones bearing my family's old surnames: Pagem, Dalton, Merritt, Hayes. The mirror's portal linked to their resting place. But still no Lucy. Beyond the cemetery's edge, I glimpsed the woods that had terrified and transfixed her lately. That seemed my last hope. Passing the final headstone, I was startled to see my own name freshly chiseled. Peering closer, I recoiled. The dates implied I had already died years ago at age 7. The mirror's alternate reality was steadily merging with my own. I had to find Lucy soon, or we'd be trapped in this twisted purgatory forever. The forest's grasping claws and eyes obscured by shadows brought only dread. But I pushed on, calling Lucy's name desperately until my voice went hoarse. All I found were abandoned campsites and shallow graves that made my blood run cold. Then faint music drifted through the trees ahead, a slow waltz echoing through the woods. I followed it to a deteriorating hall lit by flickering candles, violin music swirling within. One doorway led down a staircase where I could hear churning water. Pulling it open, I gasped. There stood my sister, eyes aged decades, before a massive rotating wheel. Our ancestors' dazed faces peered out from the churning wooden spokes, demanding freedom from some eternal machine. This was the circle they could never break away from. Lucy turned to me, tears streaming down her wrinkled cheeks. "It takes all of us to keep the wheel turning." Her cracked voice carried untold pain. "I tried to warn you." I lurched forward to grab her, determined to break this curse. But spectral arms suddenly seized me as the music halted with a screech. The spinning wheel stopped as well, and the apparitions trapped within it let out cries of agony. I was thrown down the stone steps toward the wheel's grip. But I clutched the stair rail with all my might until it broke free. Rolling over, I thrust it like a spear through the heart of the wheel, shattering its infernal circuits. With an ear-piercing shriek, the ghostly remnants holding me evaporated. The haunted structure itself began crumbling around us. I grabbed Lucy's arm and we fled as the last candles guttered out, leaving the ruins to their decay. No spirits pursued us now. Their wretched gadget was demolished, release was obtained, human. You fulfilled a noble purpose. Back in the empty village, I spotted our reflected figures racing hand and hand down the winding road. The portal was closing, but ahead I could glimpse the warm lights of home. With a burst of speed, we crossed the threshold just as the surface sealed behind us, leaving nothing but silvered glass. We collapsed weeping to the floor, overwhelmed by loss, relief, and the chance to begin anew. A great ancestral weight had been broken free, their tortured wheel would turn no more. Generations of pain and control were undone. The circle was opened once and for all. In the years since, Lucy has healed, heart and mind nurtured by tranquility we now share. No more voices haunt the darkness surrounding her. But above the fireplace, that bewitched mirror hangs veiled. Its surface never clouded over or showed signs of refreezing into a portal. Yet some primal inkling warns me, the apparitions we glimpsed could not so easily dissipate. Their curse was bound to our lineage's blood and souls. Perhaps one day, centuries from now, when memories have faded, that haunted circle will call again. And the servitude bound to our family by generations of suffering will require fresh blood to oil the grinding gears. But should that darkness reawaken, my hope is that others will remember our forgotten sacrifice. Two ordinary siblings willing to shatter the cycle of control, whatever the cost. And inspire new souls to seek the light when our own have long since passed into legend and mystery.